The Joe Rogan Experience.
But I love the fact they said that it's racist. When he calls her Pocahontas, it's racist. I'm like, it's a fucking Disney movie. Well, a lot of people.
Oh, yeah, but also, I mean, the moment that I, gave up on Elizabeth Warren's political judgment is when she decided to publicly go through the DNA, the 23andMe or whatever it was, to prove that she was, in fact, partially Native American. It was like, just, dude, back off from this thing.
Well, she had to.
No, she did not.
Trump is going to attack her on it forever. Now
he's going to attack her on it forever no matter what.
But now at least it's off the table. She showed the slightest sliver of Native American.
No, Joe, it's not off the table. You think that if Elizabeth Warren's not the candidate, that's not going to be what he hits her with every single time?
For sure.
Yeah.
But it would be more on the table if she had never taken the DNA test. He would be, for sure.
Really?
Yes, because it would be this hidden thing. Like, no, he knows I'm lying about my ancestry. It's a big thing to lie about. Because if you lie about being Dutch, okay, it's like, it's kind of a cool ethnicity, but it's not that. But you lie about being Native American, it's different. Because like they're one of the most maligned and repressed peoples ever in recorded history. I mean, they were wiped off the face of the map and stuck into these little pockets of land that don't have strong natural resources. I mean, I'm on my 5th book in the last 3 months on Native Americans.
Wow.
Yeah, I became obsessed.
What got you obsessed?
Empire of the Summer Moon.
Okay.
It's a book on the Comanches, and it is fucking incredible. It's incredible when you realize like that this was going on in this country just 150 years ago, and that for hundreds of years the Comanches just dominated the West. They dominated the plains, and until they invented a gun that could shoot more than one bullet, the white men were fucked. The Comanches would just dominate them because they could shoot arrow after arrow, and they were just a ferocious people. They didn't no artwork, no beadwork. They just made teepees like
beadwork.
Really, they weren't. They didn't have like illustrious like works of art and beautiful. What the Comanches were a war people.
Yeah.
They raided, they hunted, they ate mostly meat. All they ate was meat. They didn't farm. They didn't do any farming. They just roamed around and killed buffalo and just dominated the entire western half of this country for hundreds and hundreds of years because they were the first ones to figure out how to ride horses. They were the first ones to not just figure out how to ride horses, but to raise horses, animal husbandry. They figured out how to accumulate large stables of horses and ride them better than anybody could.
I need to read this.
Oh, it's fucking amazing. It's
it sounds amazing.
It's so good. It's such a good book and horrific. Do you see the woman out there that's on the wall outside? The Native American woman that's breastfeeding a baby?
Oh my God, I thought you were talking about a real woman.
No.
A painting.
It's a photograph of Cynthia Ann Parker. Cynthia Ann Parker was abducted by the Comanches when she was 9 years old and then became accepted as a part of the tribe and then went on to be the wife of the major chief, one of the major Comanche chiefs, and then was kidnapped back by the United States when she was 30, but she didn't want to be in the United States because her whole life, or by the whatever, the pioneers, whatever the fuck they would call them, the Americans. That's her right there. That's the photographs of her. How
did you get in? Like, what started your interest in this?
Read a book by my friend Stephen Ranella called The American Buffalo, and it's the history of the bison in the United States and the Native Americans that would travel with the bison and all these different tribes they basically coexisted with the bison, just moving with the bison as they migrated and hunting the bison. And I was just like, what a strange thing that these people lived in this Stone Age, but fantastic way with all these myths and legends and stories and so much magic in their life. Yes. And then all that's gone. And
now we just
so when
crouch
Elizabeth
over
Warren,
a little piece of metal.
Yeah. So when Elizabeth Warren lies about being that, that's a big deal because they're one of the most mythical cultures, one of the most magical cultures in a lot of ways because, look, they did horrific things to each other. There's no doubt about it. The Comanches were fucking ruthless to each other, to other Native American tribes. They went on war constantly. They were raiding each other constantly, kidnapping, abducting, murdering. I mean, there's no this idea of Native Americans being
the peaceable.
Yeah, horseshit, 100% horseshit. That's not how they lived. But the way they lived was I don't want to say admirable, but fascinating and powerful. And they had their very strict rules and codes of operating that were very unlike the Western world. And they were invaded. They were invaded and dominated and killed off by disease. And then ultimately, I mean, they were shooting buffalo just to starve the Indians out. I mean, there was a lot of crazy shit that went down. So when she comes out and says, you know, oh, I grew up Native American. The fuck you did. The fuck you did. And the more books I read, now I'm on Black Elk Speaks, which is my favorite one so far, because Black Elk Speaks is an actual man named Black Elk who is a Oglala Sioux medicine man, a Lakota medicine man, who in the 1930s told his story. So he was alive when he was there when Custer was murdered.
Wow.
Yeah, he was there when the Sioux were forced into reservations. He's telling the whole story of them going from living this nomadic life to being forced in these reservations and starving and alcoholism and all the chaos that came with it. So, and this one is this one's the best because it's literally his words. So you get a direct translation. He's talking to his son is talking to the author, and the book was written in the 1930s.
Do you spend any time on reservations?
No, I haven't, other than Indian casinos doing stand-up.
Yeah.
And we're working on it right now.
You should do a show with someone. I mean,
well, we're working on that right
Yeah.
now. We're reaching out to a couple different Native American groups to try to find a good representative to come in and talk about their grandparents and what the stories that they had heard. Yeah, it's a crazy subject, and it's, to me, look, pretending you're anything is not good, but pretending you're Native American to me is like, whoa. That's because that's one where everybody, there's like a spirituality aspect to Native Americans. It's implied. Like you say you're Native American, people are like, oh, that guy fucking knows things. You're allowed to have feathers. You can have an unironic dream catcher on your wall. It's different.
Right.
It's different.
It's one thing that like cosplay is. Yeah, I totally get that.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah. It's a weird one, and maybe someone lied to her. People get the wrong information all the time from their great grandparents, and people they get. And also the thing about Cynthia Ann Parker, right? Cynthia Ann Parker was 0% Native American, but she was 100% Indian. She still was a Native American, because she's abducted when she was 9 and lived their life. She wanted to go back.
Well, yeah, I mean she threw in her lot with them.
Yes.
And that made her them.
Well, she didn't like the Western world when she was forced to live in cities and live in towns, and she fucking hated it. And you get her words, when she's describing the difference. Like the Comanche world was filled with magic and gods. The water was a god. The sky was a god. There was magic. Like there was rituals they would do to protect themselves in combat, and all these things made life fantastic. The hunting of the buffalo and the nomadic way of life, and then all of a sudden to be locked into these buildings and wearing these clothes and stuck within these rituals that the white men would live. She didn't want to have any part of that. So even though, if someone was Cynthia Ann Parker's, if she had sex with a white man and made a white baby, that is not a Native American baby, but it kind of is. In terms of culture, she was 100% all in Comanche when they eventually abducted her back. Amazing stuff. So, fuck Elizabeth Warren. fuck that crazy Native American talk. I mean, again, no disrespect to Mrs. Warren. Maybe someone lied to her. Maybe she didn't know she was 1/2000th Native American.
I don't know. I also just think, I don't know. She's an expert, and she's clearly
manipulative.
No, I was going to say really smart, and has she knows what she's talking about. I just don't think that she sells to the American people in this moment. I don't see it.
Yeah,
I really don't.
Well, that shit she pulled on Bernie, which she was saying that he had pulled her aside in private and said a woman can never be president.
Okay, tell me how you saw that moment.
Well, the CNN moment was very interesting, right? When she walked up to him in this very public way and said, "I think you just called me a liar on national
yes.
TV." And he was like, "Hey, get into this?
it.
You want to get into this?"
Did you see the video where someone put the Curb Your Enthusiasm? Like,
No!
Oh my God, Jamie, you need to pull. It's like Tom Steyer's there, and it's like the intro music to Curb. It's incredible. It's perfect.
Oh, that's funny.
Because Tom Steyer's standing there like,
Yeah. I don't.
Like a
I think
tool.
it was a ploy. I don't buy it. He's been her ally forever, and to me, it shows a sign of great disloyalty and great dishonesty. Like the way she did it as it's a ploy. Like ideally, her and him could be allies, and she could be.
but only
either,
one person can win.
Right, but maybe she wins and he's her running mate. Like that is 100% possible, right? So if you're all in the DNC together,
Yeah.
you should be allies, right? He's a powerful force in the Democratic Party. She's a powerful force in the Democratic Party.
Yes.
Why are you attacking each other? And why are you attacking each other with some bullshit story from like many years ago where he said that a woman is never going to win?
I think I don't know. This is one thing where I can give them both a generous read. I think it's very possible that they had the kind of conversation that people like you and I have all the time, which is, can a woman win the presidency of the United States? And I think Bernie gave an answer that a lot of people give in those conversations, which is maybe not. Maybe the American people are too sexist to elect a woman. Like, that's possible. And she, and he meant that in an observational way, not any judgment on who she is or the capability of a woman to be president. And she heard it in the negative way of a woman can be president.
Yes.
Too generous?
That is possible. That is possible.
I agree that this was absolutely a strategy on her part that backfired.
That's why it's gross. And
Not
it
a
did
question.
backfire.
Not a question, but I also think that, I have those conversations every day. Can a woman be president?
Yes.
Like, people are really misogynistic.
Sure. Well, they have these ideas about what a president is. And a president is an older male who is, well-spoken and educated, who
And tall.
understands. Yeah. There's many factors. Yeah.
Like,
well,
that's why Pete Buttigieg has no chance. He's too short.
Yeah. Well,
And a lot of other reasons.
there's a lot of other things. Well, there's also a fucking mayor right now. And aren't you working? What are
I
you
don't
doing?
know, man. Andrew Yang is like, are you saying lack of government experience?
Yeah,
or are you
but
saying
no. He has a job that he's not doing when he's out there running for president. Like Andrew Yang he's not a mayor somewhere where he's ignoring his constituents. He's not ignoring his city.
No,
like South Bend, Indiana, they're freaking out. They're like, what the fuck are you doing, man? You're supposed to be the mayor.
Well, that's how New Yorkers felt about Bill de Blasio, which is like, our
Yes.
feckless mayor is now running for president. I mean,
love that word. Feckless is one of my. I never use
it's so
it.
good.
It's a
You got to
great
use
word.
it.
It's a great word. Feckless.
He is.
It is. It's
He's
just a great
ridiculous.
word. Someone called someone a feckless cunt. Who the hell was that?
I don't know.
God damn it. I forget who it was.
Someone on the show?
Like maybe Samantha Bee called someone a feckless cunt. And
Oh my
like,
God!
it was Ivanka Trump.
It
Yes.
was Samantha Bee. Yes.
I was like, Jesus. But she used feckless and then cunt. I was like, whoo, that's hard. She came hard. She went hard.
She came hard.
That was, I mean,
Nice.
came at her hard. Yeah, I'm not good with language sometimes. But the Warren thing, that was the real problem with it, was that it was obviously calculated. It didn't. When people are talking, if someone said, "Look, if he was like a closet misogynist,"
No,
and all
obviously
these-
he's not.
Right.
Obviously he's not.
Right.
But I also think that he had a conversation with her where he said that a woman can't win. And
maybe
I don't think that makes.
or maybe not.
I don't
Or
think she's
maybe he
making
said
that
it
up.
different. Sure, she could. Sure, she could be making it up.
Of course she could. I don't think that she is. And I think what Bernie meant was not anything sexist or misogynist. I say sometimes, I ask out loud to my friends, I don't know if a woman can win for president.
Well, Hillary
Like,
won
that's-
the popular vote, right?
I know,
So
I
a
know.
woman can win.
Yes.
They can win.
Yes.
The idea that they can is nonsense. But it's also talk, right? If you and I were just sitting around having a cup of coffee and we're just talking, we just talk about
And then I
stuff.
went and weaponized that against you.
Yeah,
It
you
sucks.
say this is a statement. And I'm like, that's not what I'm saying. I don't know what the fuck I'm saying right now. Like right when I'm talking, I don't know what my next word is going to be, right? Everyone knows that. We all know that when we're talking. It's one
Yeah.
thing if you're reading a speech or if you have like a very clear doctrine that you're like, this is my idea of the world. I've thought this through very carefully. I've written it down and I'd like to share it with you. This is okay, well then I'm going to hold you to that. And if you change that opinion, I'd like you to tell me why you changed it and tell me why you were wrong. But that's different between talk. If talk like fuck, a woman can't win. A woman can't win. A woman can't win. Hey, a woman can't win. Maybe that's what he said. You know, maybe he was upset. And then she's like, he privately told me a woman can never be president. He's like, that's not what I said. And he's all
No,
fucking,
let's not do this now.
let's not do this now. Do you want to do this now? We can do this.
You
Let's not do this
must
now.
watch the clip with the Curb music.